So the market has been insane this week. Wild swings all over the place. First a huge fall, then up over 10% in one day, just from one tweet. Wow. Anyways, I'm doing as always, staying smart, staying patient, and I keep stacking those dividends. Recently, my own business is doing great. However, that does mean I can't dedicate as much time to my YouTube channel as I want to, since my business goes first. But I will release at least one video per week, as always. Welcome to the channel. Today, I thought we would go over my portfolio activity during the first quarter, my buys and my sells, and later in the video, what my strategy is going forward. If you want to help me grow, make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe and drop a comment down below for the algorithm. Alright, let's jump in. So, this is before the market opening in Sweden, and we can see my portfolio value here. I did take out some cash this week, so that's affecting the total value. I also bought when we got the pretty steep fall during the start of the week. Let's head on over to my transactions. I have filtered from the 1st of January to the last of March, and we see I did some selling. The first one is a Swedish bank stock I bought in 2020, SEB. Sadly, ever since I bought, it was pretty high flying, so it was always a pretty small position. They paid me pretty decent dividends. My initial investment was 6,121 Swedish crowns, and during the years I got paid 2,206 Swedish crowns in dividends. And when I sold, the value was 10,910 Swedish crowns. So the math comes out to 114% gain on this one. The next one is a large Swedish construction company, PEAB. Again, just a tiny position, and they haven't performed like I wanted to. I have bought small amounts since October of 2020. My total investment was 3,985 Swedish crowns, and I got a total of 511 Swedish crowns in dividends. And when I finally said goodbye, the investment value was 4,247 Swedish crowns, so that's a gain of 19.3%. Next up, we have a Swedish mining company, Boliden. You will see a trend here. Just a small position, and they have paid pretty decent dividends. Total investment of 8,697 Swedish crowns, 1,179 Swedish crowns in dividends, and a final value of 10,910 Swedish crowns, so 39% gain. And the next one is a spin-off from J&J, Kenvue. I never really cared for this one, so I held it for a while to see where things would go. And my broker is kind of weird, since they don't show my initial price. I had 16 shares, and during the holding period I received a whopping 240 Swedish crowns, that's roughly $24, since August of 2023. Anyway, I sold them, and I remember I was up a bit, probably due to a strong dollar. Total return is unknown. The next one is a brother to my largest position, Exakt Sverige or Exakt Sweden. Trading high, and they have paid around a 3 to 4% dividend with a pretty spotty track record. This ETF tracks the broad index of Sweden. I invested a total of 6,887 Swedish crowns, and I got paid 1,203 Swedish crowns in dividends, and the final value was 8,921 Swedish crowns, so a 47% gain. Next up is a huge one, Johnson & Johnson. My total investment was 19,167 Swedish crowns, with a dividend income of 2,426 Swedish crowns, and a final value of 20,804 Swedish crowns, making gains of 21.1%. Like I said in a previous video, J&J doesn't fit my portfolio anymore. The dividend is low, they trade sideways, but at a pretty steep price, especially when the dollar was high, so I sold it to invest somewhere else. The final one is Alibaba. I bought it in 2021 as a growth stock, just held it and kind of forgot it. They did start to pay dividends, but not much. I'm a dividend investor, and I figured I don't want to own this company, and I got a chance to jump the ship. I bought it for 10,048 Swedish crowns, and I got 223 Swedish crowns in dividends. And the value when I hit sell was 11,166 Swedish crowns, so a gain of 13.3%. Alright, that covers the sell side. I sold stocks for 70,134 Swedish crowns, or in today's dollar value, $7,149. Let's move over to my buying activity of Q1. The list is long, with 25 buys, so I'm going to speed it up. My first buy was JEPI and JEPQ for a total amount of 10,126 Swedish crowns, so around $1,032. I got my chance with Realty Income at $52, so I bought for 11,721 Swedish crowns or 1,040 at that day's dollar value. I'm not going over each buy in order here. If I bought a lot of times, I will just lump them together. Next up is Exact Nordic High Dividend Low Volatility, just some small buys here, totaling 1,183 Swedish crowns or $120. And I also bought some Aker BP. This is a reinvestment of the dividends, so I bought 3 shares for 664 Swedish crowns or roughly $68. I also reinvested the dividends I got from Vår Energi, and I got 24 shares for 737 Swedish crowns or around $75. We also have JEPG, 10 shares for 2,793 Swedish crowns or $284. Amsterdam Commodities, 2,596 Swedish crowns or $264. So, the next 2 buys are a bit bigger. First off is Montrose Global Monthly Dividend. I reinvested some dividends I got during this period and also made my first investment here. Total amount invested 29,880 Swedish crowns or $3,045. My second largest buying for the period was in Swedish Nordic Real Estate. More on them in a bit. I bought for 35,364 Swedish crowns or $3,604. And for the final one, Evolution. A new position, and I tend to go a bit heavy into my newer positions, so I don't risk getting in with a small amount and then it takes off to the moon. I bought for a total of 41,502 Swedish crowns or $4,230 US. That amounts to a total buying of 136,571 Swedish crowns or $13,921. I hope you stuck around for this long. Let's talk about strategy going forward. For every year I make a strategy. I look at how much dividend is forecasted to be paid, savings from my salary and dividends from my own company. Split it up into monthly total, and then I start doing a list of the companies I want to buy and at what price I would buy them for. And it looks something like this. Now, I haven't gotten around to doing this for this year, but I will. You might scratch your head right now, thinking, yeah, but that may not work out the way you want to, the Swedish dividend investor. And yes, you're right. I can't plan for what the market will do this year, but I think it's good to have a strategy, so when or if the opportunity comes around, you know what to do and what you are willing to pay. Often, these strategies work out just fine, for the most part. So what will I be doing this year or the next quarter? First off, I have a goal this year to get my position in Swedish Nordic Real Estate to somewhere over 700 shares. That would make my total invested amount somewhere around $10,000 to $12,000, and that kind of position would pay me around $60 per month or $720 per year in dividend income. I currently have 363 shares, so I have 337 to go at least. With 9 months to go for the year, I would have to buy 37 to 38 shares per month or around 10 shares per week. So that's what I'm aiming for. Swedish stocks is the only equity I can buy very small amounts of for a very low fee, making buying every week possible, and here is my strategy. If the share price is under 160, I will buy more than 10 shares per week. If it's under 140, I will buy even more. If the price is at the 160 to 165 range, I will stick with just 10 shares. And if they go above 170, I won't buy at all. So, let's say my average buying price is 155 Swedish crowns. That's 1,550 Swedish crowns per week, or 6,200 each month. In dollars, that's 158 each week and $632 per month. The next position I want to blow up is Exact Nordic High Dividend Low Volatility. The thing here is they seem to always be expensive, but sometimes we get opportunities to buy this one cheap. During the opening on Monday this week, the Swedish market dropped by 7% and Exact traded down to under 127 crowns. So I bought 90 shares, around 11,430 Swedish crowns or $1,165. If they trade below 135 Swedish crowns, I might add some money here and there. And if they go under 130, I will go in with bigger sums of money. I could buy every month here when I contribute to my account from my savings. If the price is right, let's say 40 shares each month for a total of 360 shares for 2025. That's around $530 per month. The next position I want to add to is Realty Income. Under $52 is a buy for me, giving me a yield over 6%. I missed the opportunity the other day, plus I have already bought stocks for over $2,500 this week. However, going forward I will keep an eye on Realty. I have no problem making them the biggest position of my portfolio, if I get the chance to do it. I also want to add to JEPI. I said in a video that I would want to add a lot here, and I said $10,000. What I meant to say is I want the total invested capital to be $10,000 for this year. I have 160 shares for now, so around $4,594 invested. So that means I would want a total share count of 350, somewhere around that. So around 190 shares and $5,500. That means I would need to buy for around $611 per month. Now for some smaller positions. Montrose, JEPI, JEPQ, Global X, Nasdaq and S&P 500 covered call ETF. I could see myself dropping some small amounts here if the market continues to go down a lot, since these ETF will get a lot cheaper. Now just adding all of these up, excluding the smaller ETF positions, we land at a monthly investment of $1,773 or 17,393 Swedish crowns per month. I will go through this in Swedish crowns first and then convert it to dollars. So my monthly savings is 10,000 Swedish crowns per month. My monthly dividend income is an average of 5,500 Swedish crowns. But this is quite misleading, since my biggest payments comes in April and May, and a lot from my Swedish company who only pay once per year. So let's say the dividend income each month is roughly 3,500 Swedish crowns going forward. Then I get paid dividends from my company. And last year that was 50,000 Swedish crowns, so around 4,000 Swedish crowns per month. That lands me at 17,500 Swedish crowns or around $1,783. It's not very likely this will play out as I want it, but there's almost always something to buy, and I can just put my money on the sidelines if I don't find anything to buy. So there is my strategy going forward, or wishlist, or whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty excited when the market drops, and I hope it continues going forward. More shares and higher yield for us patient investors. So that's it folks. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to help me grow, and head over to the comment section and tell me how your first quarter has been. I'm the Swedish Dividend Investor, and I will see you in the next one. Stay smart, stay patient and keep stacking those dividends. Ha det gött!